Hi, this is a four-part series about things to think about when writing a novel. This is the first thing that I want to talk. This video is about the first thing I want to talk about. Hi, my name is Luis Escobar. I'm a storyboard artist on the Simpsons television show. I've been on the show for 20 years, but I've also been my wife's editor in her series, The Dark Tower trilogy. Um, Her first book is called The Tower's Alchemist, and the second one is called Dark Rift. The third one is called Circadian Circle, and I'm currently editing it. So I have that editor on the brain kind of a thing. There are a lot of things that I tend to look at when I'm reading her manuscripts. I'm trying to make sure that the story is going to be as good as possible, of course. But there are certain things that I'm really honing in on. Some things that she's gotten really, really good at that I don't have to edit her about it anymore. But there are some things that she still continues to do that I think could improve. So today I'm going to be talking about one of the bigger things that I think is really important when writing a novel, and that is the beginning of the novel. Right, that's where you get hooked. Right, that's where in any kind of story at all, you're kind of want to make sure that you hook the audience immediately when you first start, um, and when you first start reading, at least the first chapter, maybe, just to try to really like show, especially show what the reader's going to be in for in the first chapter. What it's going to be like, what's going to happen. One of the best ways to do this is to start your story in media res. In media res is Latin for starting in the middle of the action. I keep telling this to my wife. Sometimes she likes to just start her story just in a conversation or something. Um, well, it's not the best hook. It's really oftentimes there's really nothing happening. It's all set up. I always get on her case about it. Usually, what I tell her is start there, but keep writing until you get somewhere interesting. Then erase it, and then start there where it starts getting interesting, and like. Get rid of the first part. If it's all set up and there's a lot of things that need to be done, you can somehow put it back in. One really good example of this is this. Okay, there's a movie called Limitless, starring Bradley Cooper, and it's great because what happens is at the beginning of the story, you see Bradley Cooper's character on top of a building. He's at the edge. He's about to jump. There's obviously somebody at the door trying to get in, and he's going to jump off the building and kill himself because it's better to do that than to confront whatever's at the door trying to bash down his door. That is like in the middle of the story. I mean, you immediately get hooked as to what the heck. It's like, how did I get here? And then you flash back to the rest of the movie, and then you find out, and then it finally loops around, and you find out where you start off back there where he was on a building. But the whole point is to start where it's good, all right, and then work your way back. It's really very important. With my wife's book originally, and I don't think it's a big secret because she used to have both first chapters of her first two books, both of them, online. The first one in Tower's Alchemist, the original, you could actually, when you read the book, the original first chapter was chapter 2. If you look at chapter 2, it's good. It's a conversation between two characters in an FBI in a intelligence agency office right before her lead character got an assignment. That's great, and it sets up the world and the conversation of the these two characters, and but it's really dull. Like you start in a conversation in an office. Uh, and even though that's the chapter where you get the catalyst to the rest of the story, what the story is going to be about, and the character's sent off on a mission in that chapter, you don't get a flavor or a taste of what you're in for. If you read the actual chapter that's in the book now, chapter number 1, you will read that the book it starts off in the middle of a gunfight. And basically the entire first chapter basically goes, this is what you're in for, this kind of action, this is this is the world that we're going to be in. This is who you're fighting. You're fighting Nazis, and then there's like a monster in there, and then there's like, and you're in the woods, and there's magic being thrown everywhere, and it's like, what? You know, like from that first chapter, that's what you're getting in the book. Then you can slow down and then rebuild back up to that. And that's exactly what Alicia did. She wrote a really great first chapter, and then her second, and then she was able to slowly build into the next chapter by moving chapter 1 into chapter 2 and creating a brand new chapter 1, which establishes the world, and it's not just a throwaway prologue type of thing either, because what it does is it sets up the character's motivation for the rest of the book. That first chapter sets up her personal motivation, the character's first personal motivation. You could actually see why the character is thinking the way she's thinking in chapter 2 by that point. So it's great. So that's my first recommendation. Is to start in media res. Always try, and yeah, like I said, like I told her, it's okay. Just start. Don't kill yourself. Just start writing wherever. Just start writing wherever. The moment it starts really getting good, that's when you cut off everything before the hand, and that's where you ought to start. Okay, so that's just those are just my tips. It's one of the many things that I look for when I read my wife's manuscripts and her story, and make sure that there's something that hooks the audience from the very beginning. All right, so I'll talk to you about the next thing next time. Um, if you want to get a free book, Art of Luis Escobar, which is me, you can subscribe to my newsletter. Just put in your email, and you'll get a free digital copy of my Art of book. Okay, so yes, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.